Hello, and welcome to the Underground. Today I'm going to show you how to perform the self-tests on your SmartFade or SmartFade ML console. It's also possible to perform a deep clear through this process, which will put your lightboard back to factory defaults. This can be helpful if your show file has been corrupted, or if you want to start a new show file totally from scratch. If you don't want to perform the deep clear, make sure to unplug your lightboard from the power before it clears the memory at the end of the self-tests. I've got this handy LED wall which shows which Dmx addresses are on. You can see how if I bring up sliders 23 and 24, those lights will turn on the wall. We'll start the self-test by turning the console off. Now that it's off, I can get into the self-tests by holding the checkmark button down as I tap the power button. Keep holding that checkmark until the screen reads entering test mode, release buttons. The first test here is used for checking all the buttons and sliders. You can see that if I hold down a bump button, the light underneath of it flashes to let me know that it's taken the command. I can also run the slider up and down and have it be reflected on the LED screen and on the green of the button itself. You'll also see that some LEDs are lit up here for dimmer addresses 49, 50, 51, and 52. Those can be controlled through the A, the B, the bumps, and the master sliders. The next couple of self-tests are for the LEDs under the bump buttons and control buttons. Press the check mark once and all the buttons underneath the bumps should turn red. Press the check mark again and now all the LED bumps will turn green. Press it a third time. On a SmartFade ML, you would now see that the control buttons on the upper left-hand section go to red, then green, then blue. However, since I have a regular SmartFade here, the next set of buttons that will light up will be the control buttons on the lower right-hand section. Go ahead and make sure that all of those are lit up correctly. The next test is for the LCD screen. Notice how it's counting up and then going through a bunch of different symbols on the screen. It's going to keep running through those symbols until we go into the next test, which is the Dmx test. Notice how Dmx address 1 and 512 are lit up right now. What the lightboard will do is send a signal between those two and try to find itself. In order to complete the Dmx test, you'll need to plug a Dmx cable in from the out port to the in port. Notice how as soon as I plug in the Dmx cable, the test runs. It says testing Dmx and then passes. If the test does not pass, then it's likely that you have one or two Dmx chips that are bad. The next test is for the Midi. This works very similarly to how the Dmx test works, and we just need a regular Midi cable. The next test is the USB chip test. This should be very quick and just say passed. The test after that is for the memory card. Notice how as I bring my memory card in and out, the message on the screen changes from write protect on to write protect off. Once I plug it all the way in, it should say memory card test passed. The last test is the systems ID test. This should read pins 001. If you do not want to deep clear your console, this is the point at which you need to unplug it from the power. Otherwise, the system memory is going to be wiped and the console will be sent back to factory defaults. As soon as I hit the check mark, it runs through its memory test. This is really quick on a SmartFade. It's a little slower on a SmartFade ML, but it's rewriting all of the system memory. The console has now been deep cleared. The last message reads firmware upgrade, are you sure? Since I have already upgraded this console to the current software, I'm going to leave that at no and hit the check mark, and the console will power down. To get the board back up and running again, we'll simply hit the power button. After performing a deep clear, it's going to ask us what the startup mode should be, and normally that would be full control or normal control, so I'll just leave that as full control and hit the check mark. Last but not least, it's going to put us into stack mode when we first start up. If you don't normally use stack mode, go ahead and press the stack button here to get out of it, and you'll be back to normal control showing number 1 and 13. Now I can bring up some sliders, and you'll see that on the screen they're coming on, showing me that I have Dmx control coming out of the board again. Thanks for watching.